Once again, welcome to Activate 2.0. We're so happy and delighted to have you on this online meeting. It's been a wonderful time thus far. For those of you who are joining, please do well to like, to share, and to subscribe. It will help the algorithm, push out this wonderful podcast to those who would be needing it. So today we want to talk about the subject of identity. And I have a friend, a brother with me. He actually just wrote a book, which is centered on purpose. I think I'm going to put up the link to where you can place an order for that book on the screen, or perhaps a barcode, so that you could go download or order the book, and you can listen or rather read it and get inspired and blessed. So if you've been asking the question that has to do with self-discovery, this is a good time for you to be here. And so sit back and enjoy this podcast. And so the next voice you'll be hearing in a couple of minutes is going to be the current regional young adult leader of the Deeper Life Bible Church that coordinates about 4 several locations. I think Glasgow, Aberdeen, Dundee, Motherwell, and Inverness, I think. And so he's passionate about people and their mind transformation. He's a lover of God. He's married with 2 wonderful kids. And so with Jesus Joy, with the host of them all, I'd like you to welcome Dr. Atimoe.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yes, very well.
Yeah, so let's talk about the subject of identity. I noticed that today people, get depressed. There's a high rate of depression around the globe. And even in the United Kingdom today, we could see loads of people who are getting addicted. You could see people who are depressed. We could see people who are struggling with what we call inferiority complex. Some persons don't even believe in themselves. And so what would you like to say? I'd like to ask you this question. At what point did you first asking yourself, who am I? When did you start to ponder and to think of who you are as a person?
Interesting. We need to understand that question, the concern, or the difficulty we now find in our day and time, where people are beginning to question who they are, will continue to get worse and worse as time goes on.
So why is that?
Because of this one, the social media isn't helping in any way.
Exactly.
But then let me come back to a part of your question that has to do with when and how did I find who I really am. So there were 2 incidences and 2 different times, and I'll say the time difference was close to 15 years. So at first, when I was 17, I just lost my dad. And then somebody came, or some people came visiting, but there was somebody in particular who spoke about having so many books in his house that if he sold them, he could buy a car.
Amazing.
I was blown away. And then when he was leaving, I approached him. Can I come to your house reading your books, and then just read, I'll return, and then he agreed. So I was 17. I would go to his house on Monday. I'll borrow a book. The next Monday, I'll return it and take another one. I did this for 2 years.
Amazing.
So at 19, I'd read, if you calculate that, 52 times 2, I'd read over 100 books. So at that point, there was this shift. But then again, I didn't have enough resources, information, and people around to guide me towards what I now knew. But then there was a seed planted. And then in 2017, at this time, I think I was maybe 32 or thereabouts. And I was doing well in business. I had my first company registered. I was married. I had 1 or 2 properties. My company then that I owned was worth several tens of thousands of dollars.
Amazing.
And I just left a good job and I had a good business. And then for once in my life, I asked, if money was not my problem, what will I do with my life? And then I began to dig deep. So at this point, it was not a question of survival. It was more about giving back. And that's something that is rooted in finding purpose.
Yes, exactly.
Fulfilling your essence, knowing who you are.
Yeah.
Because we are here to contribute, not just to collect.
That's right.
So when you find that, you're not there to begin to compete with somebody else, and that's where inferiority complex sets in.
Yeah.
Because you begin to look at, we finished school together, we age mate, we got married at the same time, we got this job at the same time. He's succeeding. I'm looking at the social media, I'm looking at his status.
I want to be like them.
You want to be like them. So that comparison on health
pushes
comparison will no longer be there, because now you're in your natural habitat.
That's right.
So you feel fine with yourself, okay with yourself, because you found your essence, who you really are.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good question. Thank you so much. Now, for someone who's watching this podcast at the moment and they are already in that pool of that thing called inferiority complex, right? What would be your best counsel to them?
There are different stages to this.
Yes.
This is a very interesting question as well. And when you are in a well and you're submerged in the water, the first thing you're looking for is survival.
Yeah.
So you want to come out of that survival mode and state. So what makes you feel inferior? Is it because of finance? Is it because of education? Is it because of marital status? I'm young, but the younger generation, those say in their late 20s, marriage is something that they think, once I get married, I'll get taller. I'll look finer.
Yes,
bigger and all that. I'll feel fulfilled. But really, it's interesting.
Those fantasies.
Absolutely. But then you discover that if you're not ready to be answerable to somebody, don't get married.
That's right.
So I don't want to delve into marriage now, but the point is this. So you need to find out what is actually your survival instinct. You want to address that first. Once you're able to address that, the level of trying to, I'm not as good as this person,
Will no longer be there.
Will no longer be there. Even if it is there, it is greatly minimized. And from there, you can now begin to ask some very salient, relevant questions that has to do with, who am I?
Is there a place of help? Because you use the illustration of somebody in a well. Of course, that person needs help.
Yes.
So what role does submission, because I'm just thinking that if I'm soaked with that kind of syndrome, right, I have to be sincere to myself that I have this. And I think most people they're not sincere to themselves. They see it as a survival strategy. Some persons see it as a challenge, but they're not aware that this is an inferiority complex, because if it's a challenge, it should stir you up, it should provoke you to good works, not make you feel sad. So how do we help those individuals?
Okay. There is an African adage, good question, that says it's a child who raises his or her arm that the mother will pick up.
Oh, yes.
That's on one side. But then that child needs to initiate the raising up of the arm. In Scotland, we say aram.
Aram, yes.
All right. First, I would suggest, when you get a notepad, pour out your thoughts. What exactly is going wrong with me? Just write as though you're writing about somebody else. Write as though you're writing something to somebody. Just let it flow. That's one. Number two, you want to spend some time in solitude. Reflect, ruminate, meditate. With this, you are able to actually find in between the lines what exactly is wrong.
Sorry, let me interrupt you there. Some people say that when you meditate or when you think about yourself, you might be unsincere or insincere with yourself, which means some persons might make themselves feel so proud and say, I have accomplished so much. Others think they might beat themselves too hard. So how can I sit down and reflect and check out myself that I don't cause damage or harm to myself? I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yes, I do. So there are two kind of extremes to it. Let me pick the word meditation first.
Good.
There is a circle of people, I don't know whether it is religious, it is secular, it is academic. They've misunderstood the term or the word to meditate. Just like the word, the word's gone off my head now, but I'll remember it at some point. No, not the yoga one. Now it has to do with gratitude. Sorry, not gratitude. I'll remember it later.
All right.
Now, to meditate, you need to know yourself. You don't just know yourself by reading a book, Why Ask Why. You don't get to know yourself only by reading a book, Why You Behave the Way You Do. No, these things are mirrors. Yeah. But then, who am I? You're a unique being.
Yes.
You're a unique being. So when you meditate, you think about yourself, you think about your past, you think about the challenges you've had, you've overcome, the ones you're still struggling with. They kind of put you in a present state of self-realization. Now, want to know, how well have I done in terms of, I've not done badly.
Yeah.
I think I can do more. I can be more. If I have accomplished this, I think I can be more. It's to push you and to encourage you. On the other hand, okay, like you said, some people would think it as this can pull them down, make them depressed and discouraged. When you think about how much you are yet to achieve, how much you are yet to do, well, that gives you the gap between where you are and where you're supposed to be. And also gives you the chance to begin to think about, what am I supposed to do to move from where I am to where I'm supposed to be quickly. When you don't know yourself, you're going to be living in shadows. And that's very dangerous.
Yes.
Because think about somebody who sits behind the steering wheel of a car, who doesn't know how to drive, and is driving with some passengers in there. Somebody gets on board the cockpit of a plane, hijacks it. He's never been a pilot all his life. Sits behind the stern of a ship. That's dangerous both to himself and
the
everybody
lives
else
of the
on
people.
board.
That's right.
That's how it is when you're living your life. You don't even know yourself.
So you could actually be causing damage
Both to yourself and to
people
others.
around you. Oh,
you're
my
married,
God.
you have children, you have friends, you have network.
You're not fulfilling purpose.
You're not fulfilling purpose, and you're just meandering, you're blindfolded quickly. Some people also think that I need to look out to be able to have an understanding or reflection of who I really am. Maybe my pastor will tell me, my wife will tell me, my clergy will tell me, it's something like this, or my mentor will tell me, it's something like this. You went to the hospital, doctor, I'm having headache, and doctor gives you ibuprofen, paracetamol, and could you give me one other painkiller? Tramadol.
Yeah.
Gives you use this in the morning, use this in the afternoon, and then you get home, you take the tramadol and give it to your daughter. Paracetamol, give it to your husband, and then the ibuprofen, give it to your mother-in-law. And then you ask, why did you do that? He said, they're the ones that make me have the headache. I think when they use it, I'm going to feel better. That's exactly what we do.
So you don't know the purpose.
But when you meditate, you know yourself, and you end up becoming authentic.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. I've got a question for you. How do you define yourself when no one is watching?
Me as an individual, or just anybody out there?
So I think you might maybe want to answer it in two ways. So you want to describe for yourself,
myself and for the person out there. So how do I define myself? Well, so this does not happen overnight.
It's progressive.
It takes time.
Yeah.
To get to that point when you know yourself, you like yourself, you appreciate yourself. So back to the meditation aspect. So when you think about who you are, you journal, you get to see the traces, you get to see the trajectory of your life. That helps you understand better who you really are, the weaknesses you have, how to overcome them. It even gives you what we call emotional intelligence as regards yourself. And with that, you are able to manage your expectations about yourself, expectations of others about you. And then when you now add gratitude to it, when you're grateful for what you are, what you have, what you've been through, that guides you in your path in life. Also, the other fellow as well. Well, I didn't use myself as an example. Maybe some other questions will lead me to get very, very personal about that. But then I think when you do this by and large will be able to give you a clue and help really.
Okay, good. Now, what role does social media play in how you express or perform your identity? Because if people who go on social media are trying to impress their followers and without no fulfilling purpose or understanding who they are, and someone who has then understood purpose, identified what they are meant to do and fulfill in life, what role does social media play?
Social media, by and large, particularly for the younger generation, is actually doing more harm than good in this regard.
Yeah.
The social media is like, it's not a mirror. I'm trying to think of how to put it, but it is something like this. It's a metric you're using to judge and to weigh yourself. So for somebody who is directionless and visionless, now we're talking about that person, and then somebody who's found purpose or essence or known himself. So the one that is directionless continues to meander and then just go with the crowd about what's going on. What's the latest phone? What's the latest dress? The hairdo, the certificate, the career, whatever it is, the business, the trade. That person will continue to go around this cycle and cycle. And do you know that every single person on our skin receives information from our external environment? Now, it's just a very tiny trickle of it that can be processed in our mind. Now, when you have these loads of information coming to you, you're submerged, you're immersed in information. You can't even think for yourself.
I can't process it.
You can't process it. You don't even know where you are in
those
life.
information, one way or the other, are affecting your way of life.
Absolutely, they're at an unconscious level. Now, for the person who's found purpose, particularly the younger person who is just coming up, stay in the shadow. Know yourself, get grounded. For someone like me, I've done this over the years, even though since I came to the UK, the UK has been UKizing me. Now, I've really had time to do that. But what I've always done, which I intend in coming years, I'll go back to, is I do what I call mental detox. 1 month in a year, I go off social media, WhatsApp, internet generally. So you can only get me through call, text, or email for 1 month. I've done this over and over time. And I've realized when I come back to check WhatsApp, to check things, I've not really missed anything.
Yeah. Something happened to me earlier this year. I went to theological school. It was then it dawned on me that, permit me to say, people don't really care about you. In the sense that I never received one message from an individual
I'll give an example.
Throughout that 1 week.
I'll give you an example too.
Apart from my wife, and I'm like, wow.
Yes.
No one really cares about you.
So I used to,
for 1 week, I literally got no message.
Interesting.
Because when I come online, I'm like, no message. This is weird.
So I used to work as a facility manager somewhere some years ago. And sometimes in a day, I receive calls, not chats, not messages, between 100 and 120 calls in a day. I left that job on a Monday. On Tuesday, I'm not sure the calls I received that day was up to 15. The following day, after I left that job.
See that now?
You don't really care.
Yeah.
So you need to swallow this bitter pill.
Yeah.
And understand.
And just focus on yourself. Keep building yourself.
Yes.
Keep giving back to the society.
Absolutely.
I've got a question for you, sir. This might be a hard one, though. It's okay, let me ask this. Can you talk about a time when your identity was challenged? You have school of thought, you have belief systems, and you've placed them as structures in your life. So can you tell me at what point where it became a challenge to some extent whereby people were not able to maybe cope? I don't want to use the word cope, like people could not build friendship with you. Is that the best word to use? Like some school of thought, some people belief system, they believe that once it's 10 p.m., they're not going to take anyone's call anymore. Right? And they have practiced that more like a habit now. They've practiced that for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's part of their identity. They feel that time is when they dedicate to maybe developing themselves, reading a book, prayer, doing a course online, And so, but there are times people want to get them at that time. And it kind of looks like a challenge. So were you in such a shoe? Were you in such a, a scenario? And what would be your best advice? What do you think people should do when it has to do with your identity?
I have not only been in that situation once upon a time. It keeps coming and going because we're evolving.
That's right.
We're growing.
That's right.
And then as we grow, actually, our circle gets smaller.
Yeah.
We gradually get lonelier. Now, the loneliness, I don't mean you're not impacting, you're not helping, but then one, want to spend more time with me. And then two, people who buy that vision, who see you, I think who also doing what you're doing, are actually smaller. When you look at an eagle that flies at certain altitude, when an eagle is flying at that altitude and looks to its left, if it finds another bird, it can never be but an eagle. So I have found myself in this situation over and over, where I have some friends or a friend that would talk very often, and I do this exercise mostly on my birthdays, but sometimes I randomly just do it, but not every time. Where I write like a table of different areas of my life or different people close to me, but particularly different areas of my life. I now try to fill in honestly, not people I wish, people who actually, when I think about them, their attributes, their characteristics and relationship, I fill them into those boxes. Sometimes it amazes me that some very important boxes in that chart, those that fill those boxes, I haven't reached out to them for months. And some people I talk to 3-4 hours, twice, thrice in a week, they're in the box of shafts. Just shafts, people that don't matter much in my life. So I try to understand, what exactly do I want? And if I find out that somebody isn't fitting into a box, I don't wait for them to kick me out.
You beat it first.
I kick them out. And one of the ways too is to mentally detox, just melt them off your brain, because the mind does not know the difference between what is real and imagined. So when you mentally prime your brain to separate yourself from such network, you're going to feel it. You're a human being. You have the emotion. You know, particularly if this is somebody you gist and chat with, you play a lot, you talk rubbish, talk nonsense, you play, you become children again. But it's a point in your life when you get serious with life. You see, there is a door you're about entering. I can't enter this door with this person. I can't enter this door with this weight. I can't enter this door with these habits. I need to read more. I need to pray more. I need to spend a long time more. I need to write more. I need to journal more. This person does not fit in. It's painful, but you have to just pay that price.
Next one. How? What do you think your sense of self might change in the next decade?
Could you take that question again?
How do you think your sense of self might change in the next decade?
Could you explain that question for me?
All right. So, in the next 10 years, do you think the perception of who you are now could change?
Okay, I'll answer the question this way, because it's not a yes or no question.
All right.
So,
all of your school of thoughts, all of your habits, all of your involvement or evolving.
Yes.
Do you think when I come back to look at you in the next 10 years, something has changed about you?
So what
that affects your identity?
So if I'll answer a yes or a no, the answer is no.
Okay.
I'm going to evolve as I grow, as I learn more, as I travel more, as I meet more people, as I get more mentored, and I mentor more people, I interact more. I'm going to evolve. I'm going to get refined more. I'm going to get better. But my basic or ground ideology of who I really am, that's not going to change. That's not going to change. I think I know who Atimoe is.
Amazing. And finally, how do you think, or do you think we can fully know ourselves?
No.
Okay.
Oh, it's a resounding no. No. Even the scripture says this too. So we keep evolving, improving, getting refined, changing, getting better and better. So you can't know it all yet until you take your last breath.
Oh my goodness. And that's the part everyone is looking for.
Oh yes. So because once you stop growing, you start dying. So you want to keep growing, knowing more, and then you're getting better at what you do. So in the wrap up, what would you like to say to our audience, someone who wants to discover themselves and want to grow so they can gain mastery of themselves? What would be your counsel, your advice to them? Quickly, I'll give you this exercise and this assignment. 1, get 4 people to write things about you. First, your childhood friend. 2, your parents or siblings. 3, a critic right now. Somebody who criticizes you, finds a fault in what you do. 4, somebody who knows you well, who is like a fan. All right? And then maybe 5, you write about yourself. Give them some days. Just pour their minds about you, what they think or know about you. And then just leave that thing for about a week or 2. Come back, take that sheet, just spread them out, take another clean sheet, and begin to read through and write what the commonality or commonalities are from those sheets. That gives you a clue. All right. And then something else. What do people know about you? What do they say about you? What do they celebrate about you? Another thing, what comes natural to you? What do you do when you don't even know time is going? What can you afford to do for free? What can you afford to do for free? If you never had money problem, what would you spend the rest of your life doing? This will give you a clue exactly to who you are. Guess what? Don't spend one single inch of time. Go all out. While you're still making money, while you're still surviving, go all out and begin to nurse, grow, and groom yourself in that path. Because I don't know how this is going to sound in your ear, but I'll say it all the same. I learned it from Warren Buffett. Knowing what exactly you need to do and not doing it, moving it to a later date, is like saving sex for old age.
It's not going to be enjoyable at that time because you're already old. Amazing. And so this is the end of the podcast for Activate 2.0 on the subject of knowing yourself. Who am I? Self-identity. If you've got questions, please do well to reach out to the email theanchoredinternational@gmail.com, or you can as well go over to our website www.theanchoredlivesministry.org. And when you go on there, you have to book an appointment and you have the chance to speak with Dr. Tim at his convenient time. And I believe that is free of charge for now.
Sure.
And so this will only be done for the first 21 days in November. So if you are watching this, podcast after that time, then of course a consultation fee will have to go to himself, not ourselves. All right. And so please do what to like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. We hope to see you at the next one. Bye for now.